What's up, everybody? It's me, Lone. Hope you're doing all right. Today, I would like to talk about Fallout 3 Remastered. Fallout 3 Remastered is something that we, as a Fallout community, have been screaming about for the longest bloody time. I've made countless videos at this stage about Fallout 3 Remastered. At least I've mentioned it in many videos in the past. But we're still asking about it. We still want Bethesda Game Studios to do it. We also want them to do Fallout New Vegas Remastered as well. But let's do the one, and we'll get the other one, right? It's just going to happen naturally like that. But what's actually crazy to say is that now, more than ever before, we are probably the closest we've ever been to getting a remaster of Fallout 3. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me break down my thought process. And I started thinking a lot about this recently, of course, but because I've been playing Oblivion Remastered. I'm sure like many of you over the past few weeks, you've been putting tons of hours into Oblivion Remastered. I certainly have. And I've enjoyed it so much that it's made me want to remaster Fallout 3 more than ever before, right? Like, I didn't think that was possible because Fallout 3 is my favorite game of all time. I've been screaming about a Fallout 3 remaster for a very long time. I thought that I always wanted it the most that I could ever want something. And then I played Oblivion Remastered and I'm like, you know what would be really good? A Fallout bloody 3 remaster. So as you know, Oblivion Remastered was made by Virtuous in partnership in conjunction with Bethesda Game Studios. And I'm going to say they shadow dropped it out of nowhere. They tried their best. It leaked many, many times before they actually officially announced it. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They tried to shadow drop it out of nowhere. And it's done incredibly well. It's done so bloody well. Last that I checked, it's reached at least 4 million players. That was the last reported number from Bethesda Game Studios. It's topped the Steam chart. I think it had well over 100,000 peak concurrent players on Steam. I think it was one of, if not the best-selling video games in the US in the month that it released. So it's done really well. And I don't need to say this, you don't need to say this, but the people that work at Bethesda and Xbox, etc., they're smart enough to know that if they didn't remaster Fallout 3 after the overwhelming success of Oblivion Remastered, they would be leaving so much bloody money on the table. Like, it is a thing that especially AAAs, big developers, big publishers, they're constantly going back to their tried and tested IP and games that have done well in the past because it's hard to experiment with new IP nowadays, right? So that's why they, of course, did Oblivion Remastered. And that's why they probably will and should do Fallout 3 Remastered. It's going to make a boatload of money. Will it do as well as Oblivion Remastered? I don't know, but I think it's standing a pretty good chance, especially because of how popular Fallout is at the moment. Fallout 4 took the franchise to newer heights. Fallout 76 did its thing. I still very much enjoy it. But then we have the Fallout TV show, and that's topic number 2 here. The Fallout TV show has really catapulted the Fallout franchise and IP to much newer heights. You saw the impact that the Fallout TV show Season 1 had on player counts for like all Fallout games. Fallout 76 had a bump, Fallout 4 had a bump, I believe 3 and New Vegas also had a bump as well. The Fallout franchise, the Fallout community is bigger than it's ever been, and that's in good part because of that Fallout TV show, right? And we know it's getting a Season 2 soon. It's wrapped up filming, I believe, and they're making it at the moment. And also Season 3 has already been renewed. So the Fallout TV show is going strong. It's in good hands. I'm very confident that Season 2 and 3 and whatever they do is going to be just as incredible as the first season, right? But what was definitely in lack when they did the Fallout TV show was official Fallout content coming in at the time. We had some very small and minor Fallout 76 stuff. I think there was like a skin or a vault outfit in the game that you could wear, and there was like stuff like you could dress up as the ghoul in Fallout 76. But that was about it. That was about it, really, until we got the Ghoul update. But the Ghoul update, Bethesda Game Studios tells us, was, in production, and that was being made before the Fallout TV show, and especially before the success that it had. So I don't know what to believe when it comes to that. But the point is, there wasn't that much official Fallout game content coming out alongside the show. And that was definitely not a bad thing, but it was a missed opportunity. It was definitely a missed opportunity for Bethesda. Hindsight being 2020, if they could foresee how popular the Fallout TV show would have been, they probably would have tried to remaster Fallout 3 and just get it out there. Because could you imagine how well a Fallout 3 remaster would have done if it came out at the same time as the Fallout TV show? It would have skyrocketed. It would have been insane. So they cannot continue to miss these opportunities. The Fallout TV show is huge now. Season 2 is going to be coming soon. Can they do something in time for Season 2? Probably not. But I'm talking about Season 3 and beyond. They need more new official Fallout game content to be coming alongside the show. That's not just Fallout 76. I love Fallout 76, but it has its core, it has its niche community. A lot of the general wider lay Fallout fans just aren't playing 76, but they are looking forward to the next thing. And we know that we're not getting Fallout 5 anytime soon. Bethesda Game Studios, they're doing Elder Scrolls 6. I still think they're technically working on Starfield DLC. So Elder Scrolls 6 is first, Fallout 5 is after that. We're probably many, many years away from that, right? So they need something in between, and Fallout 3 Remastered can be that thing, right? It is such an easy win for them, to, especially given Oblivion Remastered, and they have the formula there, they have Unreal Engine 5 there, they have Virtuous there. It would be such an easy win, such an easy layup for them to just remaster Fallout 3 and release it alongside one of the big seasons of the show. Maybe Season 3 is possible, maybe Season 4, I don't know. But then there's this important thing, and I really want to touch on this because quite honestly, I never got the opportunity to play the original Oblivion, right? I didn't pick it up at the time. I wasn't really into Bethesda Game Studios games at the time. Fallout 3 was my very first Bethesda Game Studios game, and then I tried my best to work backwards from there. But I never got the opportunity to play Oblivion at the time. Oblivion Remastered has opened my eyes to how great, how awesome, how amazing Oblivion is, and I wish I had played it at the time, but I didn't. But the remaster has given me that opportunity to do so. And I've had so much bloody fun. I've had so much fun. It's great that it has a new coat of paint in Unreal Engine and it looks phenomenal. But the vibes are immaculate in that game. I just love exploring. I love doing the quests. I re-rolled a new character because I wanted to do better the next time. I want to make sure that all my attributes and skills are perfect and everything. So I'm having such a good time in Oblivion Remastered. But importantly, it's allowed me to play a game that I probably never would have played because I don't know what it's going to take to download the original Oblivion, and do I need to mod it? Do I need to fix it to make sure it runs well? I don't know. I didn't want to jump into that. But then Oblivion Remastered comes along, and I can play it on my bloody PS5, in front of my big screen TV. Just can't do that with Oblivion. So it's allowed me to play a game that I just never did and probably never would have, right? And I know that there are many people in that similar position when it comes to Fallout 3. Fallout 3 did well at the time, don't get me wrong. I think it sold at least 12 million copies, probably more by this stage. And then you have Game Pass part of the equation, etc., etc. It's probably more than that. But still, it came out in 2008. Came out all the way in 2008, and the games industry and how many gamers there are, it's gotten much bigger since then. And importantly, there are more Fallout fans, especially because of Fallout 4, the TV show, etc. There's more Fallout fans than there's ever been. And I'm sure there are many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of fans that would play Fallout 3 that haven't, right? And I'm very astutely aware, and as much as I love the game, right, it's difficult to play Fallout 3 at the moment. Yeah, like no way to play it on a PlayStation 5, for instance. If you have a PC, I know some people can just not, for the life of them, run Fallout 3 because it has all these issues. Especially on Steam, it has these issues. GOG, I think, is pretty stable. I would definitely recommend you to try download the game and play it on GOG. But you're still probably wanting to install some mods to ensure some more stability. It's just not the easiest game to play. So why not remaster Fallout 3 and introduce Fallout 3 to a whole host of people that simply have never played it before? I want people to have the same experience that I'm having right now playing Oblivion Remastered for the first time. It's just incredible, man. I want people to have that experience with Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is my favorite video game, period, of all time. I can keep going back to it. Every good time I go back to it, I enjoy it. And I want other people to enjoy that too. There's no gatekeeping here. Everyone needs to play Fallout 3. Everyone needs to be a fan of Fallout 3. And Fallout 3 Remastered would do that. It would just make the process easier. It's a fresh coat of paint, brings it into 2025 or whenever it's released. It would just mean so many more people playing Fallout 3, and I love that. I would love for more people to play my favorite video game of all time, right? So these are all the reasons, and probably more, why Bethesda Game Studios just freaking remaster Fallout 3. Just do it. Get Virtuous on the call. Tell them you've done a great job with Oblivion Remastered. Here's your bonus. Here's your advance. Make Fallout 3 Remastered. Have it come out in time for the Season 3 of the show. Like, easy win, right? But also, we know that it's probably real already. Like, there were leaked documents back in 2023, if you remember, during the Microsoft Activision acquisition trial. That was a bloody mouthful, and I just stuffed that up so many times. But during that trial, documents were leaked or revealed. I can't remember the situation, but they were put out there, and they were official, which showed and listed Fallout 3 Remastered as something that Bethesda Game Studios were either making or are planning to make and were thinking about making. And we know that that list is definitely real because guess what was on there as well? Oblivion Remastered. Now, the timings are all off. Like, if you actually look at that list, Oblivion Remastered was meant to be coming out fiscal year 22, and Fallout 3 Remastered was meant to be coming out fiscal year 24. We're 2025, and Oblivion Remastered just came out, right? So they didn't hit their timeline. But we know that this list is very accurate. Oblivion Remastered happened, and Fallout 3 Remastered is on that list. So in all likelihood, they're still probably thinking about it. If not, they've already started the process. So I think, especially after Oblivion Remastered and that turning out to be real, and especially after the success that it's had, they're probably going to be remastering Fallout 3. But it's not going to be fiscal year 24. It's probably going to be in a few years from now. We saw Oblivion Remastered when we saw that list. It had a few years delay, a couple years delay. Fallout 3 Remastered is probably going to have a similar thing as well. But it's got to be real. It's got to be real because it was on that list and Oblivion Remastered did so well. Bethesda Game Studios would be very silly, Xbox, Microsoft would be very silly not trying to be pumping that out of the door, especially given the success of the Fallout TV show. But then we have a little bit more as well. So there is a reputable leaker out there, I'm sure you've heard of his name, he's called Nate the Hate. Nate the Hate has leaked so many things in the past that have turned out to be real. He was tweeted on Twitter and asked the following question. At Nate the Hate 2, have you heard anything new in regards to Fallout 3 Remastered? It was listed in the leaked Bethesda documents back when Microsoft and FTC were fighting, and I just mentioned that. So is it still happening? If so, any idea when it could be announced or released? And Nate the Hate's response was, it'll be a while before we see it. Now, he didn't say, it's real, I've heard about it, I've had conversations, I'm a leaker, but he very much implies it. He very much implies it. That's the bit where I'm like, the fact that he's saying it's going to be a while, is he saying that based on information that he knows? Or is he just making a logical assumption? Like everyone here can make, yeah, they just did Oblivion Remastered, it took them a while, so it's probably going to take another couple of years or so to do Fallout 3 Remastered. I don't know, but I felt like it's at least worth mentioning that this guy that is reputable, that has leaked stuff in the past, when he's saying stuff like this, it makes me think, just by another percentage point, that Fallout 3 Remastered is real and is going to be made at some stage, right? And this is the biggest thing that used to be such a big hang-up for me. I always thought, and I don't know why I always thought this, I always thought, like, because of Skyrim Special Edition, that Fallout 3 Remastered would need to be done in the creation engine. I just thought for some reason, because I did it with Skyrim, that they would need to remaster Fallout 3 in Creation Engine and not look to any other engine. But what Oblivion Remastered has done for me is really opened my eyes as to the possibilities of which engine Fallout 3 can be remastered in. It can be remastered in Unreal Engine 5. Of course, we just saw that with Oblivion Remastered. It doesn't need to be done in the Creation Engine. And also as well, it doesn't need to be done by Bethesda Game Studios. They can do what they just did with Oblivion Remastered and get on the phone with Virtuous and say, we want you to do this, and you can do it using Unreal Engine 5. Because they're not restricted to Creation Engine and them doing the thing anymore, I think it's even more likely that we're absolutely getting a Fallout 3 Remastered. If they had to be the ones that do it, because we know that Bethesda has been, let's just say, a little bit creatively controlling, understandably, in the past when it comes to their titles. They've just wanted to do it, right? They've wanted to do things in the past. So for a while, I was like, maybe they just want to do it and they want to do it in Creation Engine. They want to do it right. But they've got so many other games that they're making. Fallout 4, Starfield, all that DLC, Fallout 76 for a good while there and still to this day, Elder Scrolls 6, etc. I was always worried because I was like, where are they going to fit it in? Where are they going to possibly fit in a Fallout 3 Remastered? Do they have the team that's big enough? Do they have the resources available to be able to remaster Fallout 3 and do it justice? I always thought no, because I thought they had to be the ones that did it, right? And they had to do it in Creation Engine. But thank God Oblivion Remastered happened, because yes, they can just use another studio. They can use another engine. And I'm not saying that Unreal Engine is perfect here. It certainly has its issues. Playing Oblivion Remastered, there are times where it slows down. There are times where the frame rate dips. There are still bugs. There are still issues. Not everything is perfect. And I know that Unreal Engine 5 in particular has drawn the ire of certain people in the games industry and the games community. Some people just don't like Unreal Engine 5 because they believe it's unoptimized. And I totally get that right. But I still think it's done a good enough job for Oblivion Remastered, even given those issues. And they've done it once now. They have this really good learning bed to be able to do it again with Fallout 3. So that hang-up doesn't exist anymore. They have another studio that can just do something for them concurrently while they're making all the other projects that they still want to make, like Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield DLC, etc., etc. So it's good. It's good that Bethesda has let someone else work on their precious IP. This is a good thing. We've constantly talked about in the past how Bethesda Game Studios are so slow because they have these 3 now big projects that they take 4 or 5 years to develop every time, and their output as a studio is quite slow. And we've always said that they should kind of give up the reins a little bit to some of their franchises to other studios. There are other great studios out there, even if it's a studio that like a big portion of what they do is remasters. And I'm glad they did it with Oblivion Remastered because it gives me hope right now that they'll do it again for Fallout 3 Remastered. So what could it look like? There are some unofficial fan project kind of like renditions of Fallout 3 in Unreal Engine 5 in particular, and I want to shout out a couple here. There's one by RG Sirota, and there's another by Alwyn Grant. I'm linking those in the description below, and I'll show some footage on the screen right now. This, of course, is not going to be exactly representative, right? This, of course, is a fan project. You shouldn't expect Fallout 3 Remastered to look exactly like this. But they could look very similar to this. This might, in fact, be the engine that they use to remaster Fallout 3. And could you imagine it? Could you imagine it, fellas? Playing Fallout 3, leaving Vault 101, and just walking the Capital Wasteland with this coat of paint, with these lighting effects and these assets and these textures and all the character models being redone, everything that we saw in Oblivion Remastered that everyone is enjoying. Could you imagine playing Fallout 3 looking like this? Could you imagine playing Fallout 3 with Unreal Engine? It would be heaven, brother. It would be absolute heaven. And the thing that I really love about Oblivion Remastered is that they've left a lot of the quirks that made that game special, that I know that made that game special, because I've seen constant Reddit threads about it. People are like, I'm glad that they left that bug there. I'm glad that they left this weird little feature in there. I'm glad for the most part, they tightened some stuff up when it comes to the leveling up system. But for the most part, it is what it is. So all that Fallout 3 Remastered needs to be is just a fresh coat of paint. It just needs to look good, be brought into 2025, 26, 27, whenever it comes out. It just needs to look better, and you can keep everything the same. Yes, there are some game-breaking bugs that probably still need to be fixed. There are some other systems that maybe have dated a little bit too much that can be tightened up, right? But the game can be 90, 95% the same, and if it looks like this, I'm going to have the best bloody time playing it, right? I literally cannot wait. There is a reason why all of us, when we sit down to mod Fallout 3, some of the things that we're adding, yes, performance and stability mods are the first thing probably, but then we're adding graphics mods, we're doing lighting mods, we're adding weather effects. This is the stuff that Unreal Engine can do! So let's freaking do it. Bethesda Game Studios, Todd, Core Virtuous. When are we going to see it though, right? If I was to guess, I think this year is probably too soon. Next year might also be too soon as well, maybe towards the back end of next year. But if I was to really guess, if they're going to start making a Fallout 3 Remastered now, it'll take a few years like Oblivion did. My guess is 2027. 2027 is when we see Fallout 3 Remastered. Maybe that's the year that we get another season of the show, because Fallout is going to be going to season 4, 5, 6. You know, it's really, really big. I have so much confidence that it's going to continually be renewed. It's already been renewed for season 3 without season 2 being out yet, right? That's how confident they are about the show. So if it comes out in 27, then they have a season of the show go live at that date. And we're laughing. We are laughing as Fallout fans. So let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. I'm a bit rusty, man. I was stumbling a little bit. I haven't made a video like this in a while, but I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourselves, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.